I'll share a couple of my own learnings with you around resilience. Was I think the go-to place is gratitude. But when there's something like that comes into my head sort of easily, and I hear it as the reactive answer from some people I have a lot of respect for around their self-awareness, I sort of immediately say to myself, okay, that's the white belt answer. You know, that's like first level. It's a go-to. It will help us out. But is there something deeper? And I've actually found there are 3 levels. And then I look for what I would call the black belt level, which is like very few people maybe have this, but it's where we'd all like to strive to get to. And I like to share, I'm not saying I'm right, I just want to share with you some thinking around this in case it helps you and opens up a greater discussion. And the lady that I mentioned before that told me about gratitude, she's someone I have enormous regard for. Hopefully you will get to meet her, and I'll fess up who it is in due course. But when she gave me her answer, I said, well, that's the white belt answer. You know, let's come up with something more. And I'm still waiting to hear where she goes. But where my mind went to was where Tracy went to around there are certain principles. I think there are principles that the people I see that are really resilient, they live by certain principles. And to Steve's point, they have trust in those principles. So whether it's a case of everything happens for a reason can be a principle, whether it's no pain, no gain as a principle, that, you know, everything that I'm going to have in life has got to have a struggle. So on the other side of the struggle is some type of outcome that's positive. For me, it's the whole belief of Easter, you know, that you can't have a Sunday without a Friday. That's a principle that you live by. But another one that I think is really profound is that life is actually perfect. The way that it is today is actually perfect. For all that we might think it's wrong and off track and not working and it's all distorted, is only because of a view that we have of how it should have been. And as I've done more study about myself and about life and so on, one of the things that I'm finding very interesting is that, and I read this years ago, by the lady who was married to John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Barbara DeAngelis. And she wrote, life is perfect. Our role and our challenge is to accept it. And I find myself now, and, you know, practicing this for many years, if I'm going along somewhere and something goes wrong, what I think is wrong, it's only because I assigned the wrong to it. So let's say I'm on my way to the airport and I get a flat tire and I'm going to miss a plane. Like, that's not something going wrong. How do I know that if I'd have not got the flat tire, I wouldn't have had a head-on collision and something could have been a disaster? So, in fact, Susie and I just went away, you know, with all the kids and everything over the holidays. We were camping on the way down. Our car broke down, and we've ended up being towed home on the back of a massive big flat top trailer, and they're towing the van. You know, although it feels like everything went wrong, I mean, we actually still had an amazing holiday and everything, but it's quite interesting when you say, well, nothing actually went wrong. That if someone said to us, what's going to happen is your car's going to break down, you're going to get towed home on the back of a trailer. Like, if we'd have even had that as our plan, we would have said, well, everything played out perfectly, you know, but we just had a different original expectation. And here's really the rub. One of the things I learned from some of my own growth last year was not only is life perfect, but your life is the way you designed it to be. But you don't necessarily know what that design is. If someone came to you tomorrow and said, or today, and said, here's the book of your life, you want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, do you know what's going to happen next week, you know, next year? None of us would really want to know what's going to play out. But we've got this definition about what should and shouldn't happen if it was to be right and perfect. And I find it really quite phenomenal to say, so my car broke down, or this went wrong in that relationship, or something else happened. So I designed that, did I? Okay, that's interesting. Wonder why I did that. What am I meant to learn from this? And what I find about life is everything happens purely and simply because it's a source of learning and growth towards making us more whole as a human and more as a full spirit. They say we're a human being having a spiritual experience, or a spiritual being having a human experience. And the more people grow and develop, they realize they're a spiritual being having a human experience. And I think learning about that dimension gives you where I got to was, the more you have self-acceptance that life is perfect, the less you actually need resilience. So for me, it was like discipline's what you need when you don't have motivation. There are plenty of people that aren't disciplined to go and work out every day. They're motivated to work out. They want to do it. They're not struggling to get there. They want to get there. And I think when you have a principle around life is actually the way I designed it to be. It is perfect. This is what I want. It's just not what I was expecting right now, but I'll figure that out. You don't actually have to draw on resilience. You draw on your curiosity. And curiosity for life is a much more profound and powerful and positive way to approach each and every day, especially the struggles, than it is trying to muster up resilience. So I think that's more of a challenging approach. I think it's more black belt, but I wanted to share that with you in case, separate to unpacking each instinct, there are some more generic insights in that might help you, think about how you approach 2021 from a place of, curiosity, and that your life is actually